A brief note about Sri N.Balarama Reddy. Sri N.Balarama Reddy, 1908 to 1995, was one of the most intimate devotees of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. He was amongst those very few devotees who lived in Ramanashramam from 1937 to 1950 during Bhagavan's lifetime, and later till 1995 engaged in sadhana and sadhana alone. His life was totally dedicated to the pursuit of the highest spiritual goals. Someone had called him very aptly an aristocratic ascetic. Balaramaredi was widely read in English, Telugu and Sanskrit. Though eminently qualified to write on Bhagavan, he rarely did so. In his own words, his scholarship was for his personal learning and not for preaching to others. Ramana is the way, also the goal. He is one of his rare articles written for publication in a special Ramana souvenir. Serene in countenance and childlike in simplicity, he radiated universal love. Though a bachelor, he was keenly aware of the trials and tribulations of the householders, well versed in scriptures, and fortified by divine grace. He was a boon to the earnest spiritual aspirant. Balaramaredi was a very reticent person, and more so when it came to talking about himself. A brief take on Sri Balaramaredi by Dr. K.S. Subramanian. Somebody asked Balaramaredi whether he was a devotee or disciple of Bhagavan. Reddy replied that he was a child of Bhagavan. That summarizes his relationship with Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. He was in Ramanashramam continuously from 1937. The depth of his life and experiences is awe-inspiring. His reticent nature prevented the general public from getting to know him. Attempts made earlier to bring out his biography did not meet with his approval. When a devotee met him on the 1st of May 1995, about 10 days prior to his passing away, he is said to have observed that no one needs to know that a certain Balaramaredi came into this world. His was a steadfast life in pursuit of knowledge that uplifts.
Mr. Reddy-An, when did you come to Bhagavan?
Prior to coming to Bhagavan, I had been in Sri Aurobindo ashram. I tried to find in the ashram there whether anybody had seen. Luckily, I came across Kapali Shastri and a few others. They gave a glowing account of Bhagavan's personality and life. So I wanted to come and see Bhagavan. And in the middle of March 1933, I arrived here in the morning, 6 o'clock. As soon as I arrived, someone came to me and called for breakfast. Bhagavan was seated in the old dining hall, come office, come bathroom, Bhagavan's bathroom. It was a very small room in which Bhagavan sat with a grey cashmere shawl thrown over the upper part of the body. Luckily, I was given a seat next to Bhagavan. Others were also seated around in a semicircle to his right. Usually, what Bhagavan does after the food is served is to look to one side, either left or right, and give a sign to the first person sitting next to him to stop by a wave of his head like this. Then all will stop eating. That was the first wonderful moment of my darshan of a Mahapurusha. I had already seen Sri Aurobindo and Mother, and also others in north of India. This was a unique being sitting nonchalantly without any sort of formality or pomp, just like any one of us, at the same time, far above us. After I finished the breakfast with Bhagavan, I repaired to the hall where Bhagavan would sit. By that time, Bhagavan had gone out for his usual walk and returned a little later. There were not practically none in the hall. I sat very close to Bhagavan, leaning against a wall. He came, and when I tried to get up, he said, "No," by a sign of his hand, "Don't get up," and sat on the sofa. I went on looking at him. He did not say a word. I did not ask anything. But I was not willing to get up and walk out of the hall. That went on till the time for lunch, about 11:30. After lunch, again I came to the hall. Bhagavan went for his usual walk. Then when he returned, one or two visitors were there, and pulling the native panka, that is, you have not seen it. It's a long fan-like thing hung from the roof and with a cart for people to pull. Bhagavan rested for some time. Afterwards, at about 2:30, someone brought coffee and served us, and some snacks. I sat through, did not go to the hall at all, except at lunchtime. Then again, Bhagavan's usual routine was there. People would come and just sit and go and ask. But I had no desire to ask them. When the time came for me to return at about 5:30, I got up, prostrated before him and said, "I want to ask a question or two. Can I?" He said, "Yes." I asked. He answered. Then he asked, "Where do you come from?" That was, I came to know later on, unusual with him. I told him.
He spoke to you in Telugu.
Telugu.
Can you?
Because of my Devotee.
Can you tell it in Telugu? What he asked, you asked and what?
మీరు ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తున్నారు? I told him. He kept quiet. I took leave of him and went back. There, Kapal Shastri was very happy to know that Bhagavan himself asked you about where you came from, because Bhagavan would not usually do that. People come and go. He would not inquire. So you are a lucky man, he said. I feel that Bhagavan, when once he saw me, must have felt I was his. But gave me a long rope. Go wherever you like. When the right time comes, you will come to me. Any other question?
That was 1933. That was 1933.
March
Then when did you come back second time?
35. March. At that time, there was Yogi Ramaya, who was known to be a close devotee of Bhagavan and had some disciples also. He came from my place, Nellore. He had already known me. So he took charge of me as if and introduced me again to Bhagavan. Then I had a feeling, this is a wonderful place. Homely, spiritually speaking, with a beautiful opportunity to be sitting near Bhagavan physically, talking to him and doing a little service. I did not tell this to anyone, even to Yogi Ramaya. And he happened to be sitting all alone. Then I asked him, is it advisable to change one's guru?
You asked Bhagavan.
No, I asked Bhagavan in a general way, is it advisable to change one's guru? He at once understood what was in my mind, because I had already been in Pondicherry. Yes, what is that? I was reassured. Because it was said that one should not change one's guru unless the other guru happened to be in tune with the vibrations of the former one. Here I knew the philosophies differed. That was why I put that question. And the Pondicherry people would not like their disciples to come here.
When did you see Bhagavan last?
I was with, last means with him. You see, when he dropped the body, then the body.
That's right.
You see, here, on the nights and days, particularly when we knew the body would not last, we would sleep in the veranda of the temple and get up at now and then in the night and go near his nirvana room sometime. So we were taking it. I was here and this is many years later. I am speaking of the year 37. This is for 50. Many things have happened in between. You see? And Serene is, he was a being whose advent into this world would bless the earth goddess. There is a line in Sanskrit in Bhagavata which says, Dhanya Bhagavati Yukshoni Mahatam Padachinnita. They put their feet on the earth. Earth feels blessing. To my mind, he was one of the most glorious beings that have ever visited this earth. The more you live with him, the more you feel that you have done something in the past something great which entitled you to deserve association with him. Being with him is being elevated. You need not talk with him. You need not discuss with him. You need not try to learn from him through speech. He was pouring out his grace like the rays of the sun. No stopping, ever. It was for you to receive. You must have the proper receptivity. Of course, we could not do it all the time, being weak. Whatever we could receive, we could observe, went into us without our knowing it and remade us. There was no special effort needed on our part. It was all his. The effort was not really ours. Of course, he had no need of any effort to make. But he was molding us, he was shaping us. If only we did not put any psychological obstruction between himself and us, like doubting, like mental distraction on our part. Once, 5 years later, when I had darshan of Shankaracharya of Kanchi, Chandrasekhara Saraswati, we had a long discussion lasting 2 hours and 25 minutes in Kanchi. At the end of the interview, he asked, "How did you come to know all this?" Whatever was discussed in the course, it is Ramana Maharshi's grace. I am nobody. Because I did not feel, to tell you the truth, that I knew less than him. And our discussion went on for such a long time in this way. He would talk for half an hour, I would talk for some time, not knowing when the one takes it over from the other. This is all Bhagavan's will. When Shankaracharya was here, previously, in the Patris, all the ashramites went except Bhagavan, Niranjanana Swami and myself. I said, I am here. Sitting in front of a being whose equal is difficult to find. Where should I go? But Bhagavan rewarded me with this interview of one of the greatest acharyas of his time. And it was a wonderful interview. When you give up something for God, God will give you back in tenfold. And who was Ramana Maharshi? God in human form. Unless one puts a specific question, I just tell anyone who wants to know about Bhagavan, tell us something about Bhagavan. It is like asking, tell us something about God. Where to begin, where to end?
Over the years, did you have any other teachings, clarifications of any other doubts or questions? Or teachings?
A very few minor things. There was no need for any major doubts in my mind because I was a student of Vedanta, having been at Aravindo's place there also. Read something about philosophy, occultism and other disciplines. Not much, but minor things like one day I asked, why in the course of a day a person feels at times jubilant, at times depressed? Yes. There are three qualities in nature which makes up your mind and body. They alternate. When the sattva guna is uppermost, you feel jubilant. When the tamo guna is there, you feel depressed. Such minor things I may have asked many, but I do not record. I did not record. And I was also feeling, though it was a wrong thing on my part, when Nagamma, Venkatramayya and others in Smudliya are taking down, and others, why are they wasting time instead of meditating before Bhagavan? But they were fit for only that, and they did human service for later devotees. My mind was set only on receiving from Bhagavan, absorbing his vibrations, annuling myself in the process, so that he can pour his grace into an empty vessel. This was my way of living with Bhagavan. And I feel I did the right thing. Now, there is no need for me to go to anyone, anywhere in the world, to learn anything about spirituality. Last, I think 2 years back, when I happened to see Sringeri Acharya, who is now deceased, Abhinava Vidyatirtha in Bangalore, he asked me, what is your experience with the Maharshi? I told him, of course, I felt it was a wrong question on his part. I did not tell him so. Nobody would ask about experience, because experience cannot be narrated in words. Bhagavan would not put such a question. Nevertheless, I said in a polite manner, after being with Maharshi and living with him for several years, I feel that there is no need for me to go to anyone for spiritual instruction. So, I am free, self-contained, and self-assured
What
regarding spiritual matters.
now after Bhagavan's physical demise, what do you find any difference
Absolutely none.
in the accessibility?
Without my effort, Bhagavan's figure comes before my mind, off and down, sometimes intensely. So there is no need for me to revive my memory, as it were, by an effort. It is as if he has occupied my being. That is what Bhagavan would do to anyone. Provided we are utterly sincere. Insincerity would not pay in regard to Bhagavan, however great a person might be. Once he knows you are sincere, you get everything from Bhagavan. Even now, I do feel he will answer your call, provided it is really sincere. He is here near you, wherever you be, in the heart he is, as the self.